there's no repercussions for this for these tech giants, right?
No.
Like deplatforming sitting presidents, whatever it is, and that's fine. I don't think people have. You may have a quote unquote freedom of speech, but you don't have like human rights you can't defend. And this one's actually on us for not creating viable alternatives to things like YouTube.
Yes.
So it's an important time to probably commend Rumble on seeing this problem coming for a long time and build a giant competitor that isn't going to pull you down.
Without AWS, don't forget.
Yes.
Yeah, without
they handle all their own server load, right?
In El Salvador for that reason.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. We just need better alternatives. I mean, it's the convenience for privacy problem all over again. Like people just we choose to make these trade-offs as a society, and then we realize the effects of them later, and it's kind of jarring. I mean, a similar thing is happening again with the Kimmel stuff. It's like, okay, well, who's applying the pressure here? It's like, yeah, you do have the freedom of free, but you don't have the God-given right to be heard by every person in America. Like anyone can get pulled down off most of these platforms anytime, unless you build an open source alternative like Nostr.
Yeah.
And what you said about jarring, right? That for me, one of the most jarring things that's happened in my life, and it happened for years, was having some midwit retard tell me that my opinion is wrong because it was fact-checked, as if there's someone out there fact-checking stuff. And so it was even credible, but that was the business model, right? That's what Mike Benz and a lot of people have helped us understand, that there was an architecture of deceit out there, and the misinformation police were the biggest spreaders of misinformation. So there's nothing noble about what Google did today. It's because the business model was liquidated by USAID and Doge and all that. And that's what got rid of this business model that put the middleware of disinformation, misinformation software providers and the fake services. Remember, in the Trump administration, they came up with a big dashboard, Media Matters dashboard about misinformation. It was all fake. There was no dashboard. It was all just branding. It was all graphic design. There was no software. There was no AI aggregator of the truth and all that. It was just a bunch of naive people cloaking a censorship story in technobabble and technical theater, and with this highfalutin principle of misinformation, which was completely fake. It was really just a business model. It was a way to suck federal money, tax money of Americans, to be spent on our own censorship, which is just crazy. So, the good news is, though, that did orange pill a lot of people. I mean, that was one of the best. That when I said cognitive dissonance often spurs people into Bitcoin, the misinformation and censorship campaign around COVID, just like Justin Trudeau, was one of the greatest orange pilling forces America has ever experienced. Because in the early days of Bitcoin, you had to sort of help American audiences imagine what censorship would be like, because we were so sure, Canadians as well, we were so sure it was like a thing from other, like, I don't know, Thailand or Myanmar or something. We didn't really get it. But now you don't have to explain it anymore. People understand what happened here. Their eyes are open to the reality of America, which is that the folks doing the money printing are pretty close to the folks paying for the censorship, and they're all pretty close, and we can see it. So we can see the architecture. It's not even an intellectual construct anymore. It's like engineering. We can physically see there. Okay, that's how you end up having to shut your mouth and take 12 vaccines in your neck to survive, right? There's no choice. That's what's going on. So we can all see it now. And Bitcoiners, that's what always, and I think that's what we do here at Roxom, is that, Bitcoiners have been predicting this world for well over 10 years. Hank was telling me about his mining life back in, 10 years ago. This was the kind of stuff Bitcoiners were already talking about. But back then you had to try to create a way for people to visualize it. Whereas now we're in it. It's like trying to learn how to swim without being in the water. You can't really learn how to swim from a manual. You kind of got to go in the water and figure it out. And now people are in the water. They're figuring it out. There's no choice. They have to swim. It's not, look, Bitcoin isn't all fun. Right? There's a tough part of this, which is it's real. So faster, earlier, better, stack harder, those are all real concepts. And you don't have that much feedback with reality in fiat. That's why that's why I call them sludge people, right? It's all sludgy. It's like oozing, and they'll ooze anywhere where there's an advantage. There's not really much hard to it. It's not even soft money, it's sludge money. And it produces, sludgy brains and sludgy worldviews, and that's what we're dealing with. And that's why the Fed Reserve's been a hard thing. You can't punch sludge. Can't take a direct shot at any of this stuff. It just, Jabba the Hutt everywhere. And so we do our best, right? But Bitcoin is one of those forces that can actually lay a punch on the system. It can actually, because it's so interesting, because people love it, because people are so enthusiastic about it, that kind of stuff actually is medicine against the sludge. And because it does come from a sure-footed nature and a lot of confidence, and the Bitcoiners are able together as a kind of tribe have our own P2P information network, and that helps us hit back.